Shipping is like a global casino. One month you're printing money because of a bottleneck in Suez. The next, freight rates are down 60% and you're bleeding out. It's loud, it's volatile, and it's a nightmare to track. But there is a side to this industry where most people aren't looking. It's the part that's decoupled from the noise. It's not the ships themselves, but it's the engineering, the software, and the compliance system that keep them running. Alright, the driver here isn't environmentalism, it's math. In 2026, the EU emission trading system isn't a future plan anymore. It's a monthly bill. If you operate a dirty ship in European waters, you're paying a massive fine just to exist. But here's the arbitrage. It currently costs around 300 euros to capture a ton of carbon on board with the new system. But what's the cost of not doing it? Between the carbon credits and the non-compliant penalties, we are looking upwards of 500 euros per ton. That 200 euro gap is effectively the profit margin of compliance. For a CFO, this isn't a green choice, it's a survival calculation. Think of a standard VLCC, one of those massive crude carriers. These things are fuel-hungry giants. If you can use smarter navigation systems and better engine design to shave off 1.5% of fuel consumption, you aren't just saving the planet. You're saving 500,000 to 700,000 euros every year in fuel and carbon tax. Over a 20-year life of a ship, that's 14 million euros in avoided costs. This turns maritime tech into a non-discretionary spend. It's not a luxury, it's like a electricity bill for your house. You don't buy the tech because you want to, you buy it because if you don't, you aren't allowed to stay in business. The technology is essentially the tax you pay to keep your ship moving. We need to stop looking at ships just like steel and engine. In 2026, a high-spec vessel is a modular computer. European developers has moved into digital twinning. It's not a marketing buzzword. It's a virtual copy of the ship that lives in the cloud. It monitors every vibration, every drop of fuel, and every degree of engine heat in real time. This changes the business model entirely. Back in the day, a shipyard would build a hull, sell it, and the transaction was over. Today, they sell a 25-year contract to keep the brains of the ship updated. The revenue doesn't stop when the ship leaves the dock. That is where the subscription revenue kicks in. It's software as a service, but for the ocean. Imagine this scenario. Our engine starts running 2% less efficiently in the middle of the Atlantic. The crew on deck might not notice the change in vibration, but the tech team sitting in offices like Norway or Germany get it instantly up on their dashboard. They can run remote diagnostics, tweak the fuel injection system, and fix the problem before it even hits the next port. While freight rates are swinging up and down, these tech firms are sitting on backlogs that reflects the rising demand. They aren't betting on the trading volume. They're betting on the software that keeps the shipping trade legal. It's recurring revenue in an industry that used to be 100% cyclical. There is a reason why this tech isn't moving to cheap yards in Asia. You can well steal anywhere, but you can't easily code a hydrogen-based power system or integrate a closed-loop water treatment plant. This is high-spec engineering. It requires an ecosystem of experts that only exists a few places on Earth, mostly Europe. It's about the integration of 20 different systems built onto one functional unit. Take hydrogen. We're finally seeing commercial scale in the North Sea. These aren't experimental toys anymore. They are 15-year state-backed infrastructure products. These ships are basically floating power plants, designed to ship goods and people with zero footprint. Europe is using these strict regulations to build a wall around their own industry. They have created a market where the rest of the world has to buy European strategic independence just to dock at their ports. If you are a ship owner in, for example, Singapore or Brazil, and you want to trade here, you have to buy the brain from Europe. It's a captive market. While the physical shipping industry is fighting for its life, This tech segment is growing at a 15% annual growth rate. By writing the rules and building the tech, Europe is essentially building a mandatory gatekeeper. They made their own engineering the only way to participate in global trade. It's not just a product they're selling anymore. It's a license to stay in business. They don't need to own the ships to control the ocean. Most people see this green regulation as a weight on the industry, a burden, something that's going to eat into the profits. But when you actually look at the data, it's a protective moat that protects the developers and the engineers. By setting these standards, Europe has essentially made high-end engineering mandatory. If you want to find real stability in this market, stop looking at the steel and start looking at the brains that keep the ships moving. That is where the strategic independence are actually happening. If you want to see a full deconstruction of a company I'm watching, I have posted a full breakdown on Patreon. It's built for people who don't have time for fluff, and I follow a strict logic. The macro trend, the fundamentals and the quant data, plus my own outlook of what I'm looking for before I move. If you want to read the full article, click the link below. Otherwise, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.